What's good with y'all? I have the biggest news. Now, this past Awesome Con was lit. It was lit. I'm not gonna lie. John Bodega, he's cool. You know, John Bodega doing a panel talking about he gonna play a Marvel character. That was littier than hell. I could not even process. And I'm thinking like, yo, like he realized talking about being. He talking about the MCU want him in this game, and I was like, okay, that's cool. That was the highlight. You feel me? I was a little mad that Stan Lee didn't come, but that was due to health concerns and all that. So I respect that. You know, the dude's 95. So quite frankly, you don't have to do too much. But um, so the last day of Awesome Con, which was that Sunday, I went in there to nerd out basically, and I pretty much came in there, went to go see artist and writer Scott Snyder artist Scott Snyder and DC writer Greg Capallo. It was really cool. You know, I was really nervous because I went over there specifically for business. I didn't go over there this time just to nerd out. See, now a lot of you know that I have a DeviantArt channel that I write and then I do drawings on. So it's two different pages, but at the same time, I'm more dominant on my writing page because I'm actually trying to do something with that page. The other page is just for some fun and just, you know, showcasing my art style and all that. So I walk up to their booth, this, that, and the third, and I walk up to Greg Capallo immediately because it was him I was after. I wanted to speak with them both, but I wanted to speak with him first. So Scott Snyder steps off, and you know I'm a little upset by that. I was like, "What? Where is he going?" Because I wanted to talk to you both, this, that, and the third. And he's like, "Oh, take no offense to it. You know, it's been a long 3 days. You know, the guy's probably tired." And I was like, "That's cool." I was like, I just was curious to where he was going. You know, like if he's taking a break, take coffee break, anything like that. So he came back like 5 minutes later, but I told Mr. Capallo that I wanted to speak with him about something, and he was like, "Sure, kid, what's going on?" And I was like, I told him first of all, I love your work. I've always fucked with your work, you know, and I was like, for me, your art style of Batman Endgame was the drawing point for me, and I could not control how much of a nerd I was being. So I told him, I was like, look, I know you probably don't do this, and I know you've probably gotten hundreds and thousands of people do this every time they see you, but I would really like to hear your opinion on my portfolio. You know, and he was like, sure, why not? So I handed my portfolio, and then I hand him, like, you know, it was just really, I felt awkward because I felt like I was coming at him some type of way, and I felt like he wasn't, I felt like made him come out of his skin or out of his way to do it. So I felt bad. I was like, you know, if you don't want to, it's cool, you know, it's just the fact of meeting you is great. And he's like, no, you're fine. I would love to see it. I would love to see how your work is. So he looked at it, skimmed through it, and then he came across my Joker story, which I call the Endless Laugh, which I'll put in a link in the below that you guys can see for yourselves and, you know, read it if it needs to be tweaked, by all means. But still, so he read it, and then he saw the artwork on its own, and he was like, this is really dope. Like, I like this. He's like, so what exactly do you, or were you trying to expect out of this? I was like, to be truthful, and I told him, like, out of the kindness of my heart, I was like, Mr. Capallo, real shit. Like, I fuck with you and Scott Schneider. I fuck with y'all work. Your work, and in its own, is a defining moment for me, and I cannot even express how amazing your work is to me. Like, you don't understand how much your work means to me. And I told him, like, I went to college to do what you do, and it's been a very long time since being out of college that I've even had an opportunity to work for, you know, any high profile company without having to go through a bunch of bullshit and then not get the job. You understand what I'm saying? Because literally prior to me starting a YouTube channel, I had applied for Sony USA, I applied for Insomniac, and then I applied for Don't Nod back in 2017, and none of them were, you know, willing to work with me because, well, for Insomniac, it was because they were looking for an environment artist, not just, you know, a storyboard artist, which is what I was going for. Which they said at first that's what they were looking for. And then Sony America, it was pretty much the same thing. They were looking for somebody with more than 6 years of experience, and I've only had, I'm 20, almost 23 now, almost 24. I mean, almost 24. So I've only had like 3 years in it. So that right there, I mean, I understand that. And then Don't Nod, they did what they did was specifically they just never got back to me. You know, I put my number, I put my, all that, but they never got back to me. So, and then shortly after, like almost a month after I sent that to him, and I remember because I sent it to him like January of, I sent my application into them in like January 2017, and then like shortly after that, somebody hacked my email that was running my DedSect X Rated channel, and then it changed it, and then I was just pissed. So really what it was a pleasure to just speak to him. So after he read my work and saw it, he said, "Kid, you have an amazing style." And he's like, "Your work is sadistic and it's twisted." And he's like, that's what people don't see about the Joker when you read some comic books and the TV shows, the movies and stuff like that. But he's like, "You're bringing that back. You're giving the Joker exactly what he is." And he's like, I want to know something. Exactly what are you expecting to do with this story? And I told him that the premise of it is everybody knows the Joker does not know who he is, and that's canon. But my story is technically, which is called The Endless Laugh, a what if story. Because I actually took a lot of knowledge throughout the Joker series that, actually paid attention to it and wrote it all down, kept it up there. So, I sat there and said, what if the Joker remembered who he was on his own? And in the process remembered all the people who were involved during the time of his wife's death. You understand what I'm saying? So, and after a lot of research at that point, I found out that the Riddler knew him. The Riddler knew Joker back in the day. And in fact, the Riddler was actually supposed to be the godfather of Joker's unborn child. So that right there was big bombshell. And he's like, I really like that. He's like, you're putting a lot of effort in, you're bringing in your source material, this, that, and the third. So he was like, stay right here. So he's maybe stepped there for a second, and then he just like stepped to the back, signed one more autograph right quick with somebody, and then he went to the back, this, that, and the third. And he was on the phone with somebody. I don't know who he was talking to, but he sat there and was like, I want to talk to this kid. This kid's good. This kid's art is on point. This, that, and the third, or whatever have you. And he was like, I want to meet with this kid. I want to speak with him. So we stepped to the side, me and him. Scott Snyder was still doing his thing, and he basically was still on the phone at the point, and out of nowhere he was like, "Are you free June 15th?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" I imagine this isn't going to go anywhere. Mind you, that was my whole mindset the entire time. I did not think this was going to go anywhere. I did not think anything of this. I was just scared shitless altogether. So he got off the phone, sat there and shook my hand. He was like, you're an amazing writer, kid. You're an amazing artist. You need to work on the story a little bit, but you're doing that. But I understand what you're bringing to the table, and I like it." And I was like, "Really?" Like, in shock, like type shit. I was just shook by that. And he was like, "Look, we're gonna do a conference call," and he told me, "Write down my email and write down my phone number, this, that, and the third." I wrote all that down. And he said, "If this conference call goes over well, you work with us." Like, in my mind, I want to cry because I was like, I'm so happy. And then when I asked him what he mean by that, because it caught me so off guard, I didn't catch what he said. And he was like, you will work with me and Scott. So I was like, "Are you talking?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm talking about working with us in DC." And he's like, if this goes over well, we'll bring you to DC HQ, and we'll work with you." So, as of now until June 15th, which I'm scared shitless about, I'm going to be a DC writer. If everything goes well, I'm gonna be a DC writer. So what I want to say really is that if this goes through, which I'm hoping it does, I'm hoping and praying that it does, I will no longer be on YouTube. Well, I take that back. I won't be on YouTube. I will be on YouTube, just not as frequently. So from first, I want to go ahead and just say thank you all. Thank you all. All of you that subscribe to my DedSec X-Rated channel, for all those 100 and something people, all that, thank you for all those 50,000 plus views. All of you on the Xavier the Gamer channel, thank you. Really. You know, shout out to all my followers on DeviantArt. Shout out all my followers on Twitter, all my followers on Instagram, all that shit. You feel me? I appreciate that shit, and it's that kind of fan base that I'm building, that I'm glad to sit there and say that it's real. So best believe, if I make it, I'm not gonna forget y'all. That's a fact. So with that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. Again, thanks for the shit. You guys have been awesome. You know, I promise you I'm not going to forget y'all on YouTube. I'm not going to forget none of the times we spent together. So with that being said, keep subscribing to Xavier the Gamer. Love y'all niggas.